Okay, next item is C, land use ordinance amendments, drive-through establishments / signage.
Yes, so this is a discussion. Members of the council had raised the possibility of looking to permit drive-through, dining establishments or eating establishments within Hardyston Township. I have done a little bit of research, highlighted kind of what our existing conditions are and requirements are, and then talking about some possible recommendations for consideration by the council, whereby if the council was on board, we would move to, draft an amended ordinance.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
So presently, the township, through their land use ordinances, does permit drive-through eating and drinking establishments. They're currently only permitted in the B2 Highway Business Service District as a conditional use and in the Town Center Shopping District as part of an approved shopping center. To clarify, when you have a conditional use, it means it's a permitted use so long as the use complies with all the requirements under the conditional use ordinance. They would have to come in front of the planning board for site plan approval, and they need to be in conformance with all those conditions. If they don't meet the conditions, then it becomes a use variance that's required to go in front of the zoning board for approval rather than in front of the planning board. That being said, the B2 zones as they currently exist are located along Route 94 and Route 23. And the current conditional use requirements require a minimum lot size of 1 acre, separate entrance and exit facilities, sufficient driveway area to accommodate all waiting vehicles, and lighting that should be directed towards the ground rather than to adjoining properties. Most of those current B2, I provided you a copy of the map. So if you think about it, just in trying to put things into perspective, it's the business area down in Stockholm, right along Route 23, like where US Bagel is, and those, parcels along 23. And then it is the parcels down along 94, where the former, I guess it's Firehouse Bagel now, the storage facility, the doctor's office, like that general vicinity along Route 94.
Chappies.
Chappies?
Chappies.
Chappies is actually not
Not big enough.
I don't think he is an acre.
Not an
Chappie
acre.
is zoned as a B1.
Okay.
So, in terms of permitted uses, all uses in the B1 zone are permitted in the B2 zone. Plus, so like B1 zone uses carry over to B2. B2 is a little less restrictive than the B1 zone, obviously, because as it is written now, drive-through uses are not permitted in the B1. So based on that, I don't know that there's really any, number of vacant lots or lots that would meet the requirements for a drive-through in the current B2 zone. Recommendation then would be, if there was a desire by the council to expand, where drive-throughs would be permitted, would be to expand and add drive-throughs as a permitted conditional use in the B1 zone, which is considered the neighborhood business district. But doing that, there would be a recommendation that you also amend the requirements for the approval of a conditional use, only because you are moving into potentially more residential areas. You would want to make sure that you maintain, compatible land uses with sufficient controls and regulations as to not create a negative impact on the adjoining property owners. There are currently 76 properties that are zoned as B1. The majority of them are located along Route 94, Route 23, and North Church, and are near residential developments. Under the current conditional zoning requirements, out of those 76, only 36 lots would meet the 1 acre minimum lot size requirement that currently exists. And out of those, only 13 are vacant. So, I mean, not to say that a non-vacant lot couldn't, tear something down and rebuild. There's only, 13 vacant lots within, the B1 zone that would meet the minimum 1 acre requirement. If you wanted to move forward, with these amendments, recommendations for a conditional use for a drive-through, potential amendments would include requirements for trash acceptables on site, for customers to throw away their garbage as they're, going through the drive-through, minimum lot sizes review to ensure that a 1 acre minimum is sufficient, requirement for bypass lanes, fencing and screening from residential neighborhoods, minimum requirements for the stacking and queuing of cars, maximum building size, limitations on speaker volume, hours of operation, and the requirement that the lots have highway access or not have direct access onto a lesser volume road. I wouldn't necessarily make a recommendation that you allow them to be a conditional use on like North Church Road. So that's where I'm saying like it should have some sort of state highway access. I don't know that you want to drive through, with the exception of the industrial part. North Church is really, a residential.
Right.
It's not,
Here's my question. Wouldn't it be safer to drive to pull in and out of a less busy road than on onto a highway?
From a traffic congestion standpoint, yes. From an impact on the surrounding community,
I'm thinking of safety,
And I
safety.
understand what you're saying from a, egress situation because North Church may not be as heavily traveled, although North Church
Well, at
is
times.
heavily traveled.
It depends on the time of day,
yeah. Heavy equipment, trucks and whatnot with the soil removal operation. But my concern would really be that intense level of a commercial use is really not suited for the residential character of the rest of, North Church Road versus, being on a state highway where it makes a little bit more sense in terms of,
Yeah, because most of them are on the state highways.
correct, typically, a drive-through, establishment is gonna be located along, a state highway.
Would this only pertain to eating and drinking
Yeah,
establishments?
what about other establishments?
Yeah, I mean, I know like Wawa, I've read several articles on Wawa, and with their new standards going forward, they are not going to build any new buildings without a drive-up window. It's a must for them.
And what about banks or something like that? Most banks have
Are
drive-ups. Right?
regulated differently. The drive-through for a bank is different than.
But are they
Yes.
permitted?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So like on a convenience mart, like a Wawa, it may be.
That could be considered eating and drinking, right?
Yeah, and then they just need to be a provision whereby, where they're permitted, because I think they're permitted as a conditional use anyways, or there might be conditional use standards, we would have to amend it to just allow that as an accessory to the principal use of, a convenience.
Because they're looking around for more sites, and again, without a drive-through, drive-up window, they're not building any.
None of these chains want to build without a
Do
drive-through.
they build anything without gas stations, or are they all
Yeah.
with gas stations?
Quick Check does, I know. Quick Check builds, I was just talking to Jeff Albany, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of minutes.
We do, Madam Mayor. Councilman Weber, I move that we.
We're in Ramsey too,
meeting
so
minutes
we're
from
jumping
work
through
session
Ramsey
April 14th be approved.
and Hardyston.
Second. Good evening. Good evening, folks. This is Councilwoman Cusick, and I second. Thank you. Any comments on the minutes? Not hearing any. Roll call, please. Councilwoman Cusick? Yes. Councilman Gottwetter?
Yes.
Councilman Jones?
Yes.
Councilman Kilman?
Yes.
Councilman Weber?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wood? Yes. Thank you. We'll move on to communications.
Thank you, Mayor Dillon. I would move that the communications be received and filed. And I second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any comment on the communications? Okay. No? Right? Roll call, please. Councilwoman Cusick? Yes. Councilman Gottwetter?
Yes.
Councilman Jones?
Yes.
Public comment is coming up for both meetings
Yes.
very soon.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. We're opening up to public comment. Anyone wishing to address
Here
the
we go.
governing body, please give your name, spelling the last name and address. Please speak in an audible tone and address your comments to the chair. There will be a 5-minute time limit per speaker. Muted. Following the business on the agenda. Unmuted. What comment is your time? Out of respect and fairness to all, there will be no interruptions or questions answered during your time. No time shall be ceded to anyone else, and no time shall be saved for later use. Any responses may be given during the governing body's comments later in the meeting or as directed by the chair. The borough clerk is the official timekeeper. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment?
Yes, this is Edward
Yes.
Lefty Grimes. I'm from sativacross.org. We are a 501c3 here in New Jersey, advocating for disabled rights and cannabis patients' rights.
We did not get your name.
Edward Lefty Grimes, and I'm at 84 Hanover Road. I'm with Sativa Cross, 501c3. And I want to talk to you about people in wheelchairs that need cannabis to save their lives. I would ask you to consider the sick and the dying first. We need to put the last first, and we need your help. Because cannabis patients, right now, we're paying for overpriced medicine. Our medicine is not covered by insurance. We're getting taxed by the state 7%. We're getting taxed by townships 2%. They're not taxing other medications. They're not taxing heart medications or insulin. But why are they taxing cannabis? And why are we banning cannabis from towns that already sell synthetic cannabis in their drugstores? You're banning God's medicine, but not synthetic, man-made poison. You can buy Marinol and Dronabinol in your pharmacies, and it's man-made. People in wheelchairs deserve better. You're asking them to take on another cost of delivery. I hear delivery is available. It's not available. Jake's Law was passed, and we still do not have delivery, and that's an extra cost for someone in a wheelchair. Why can't people in wheelchairs browse? I make a lot of wheelchair videos, and one thing I hear from pharmacies and other places that, we deliver. You don't need to come in here. Well, yeah, I do. I want to see what I want. I want to be able to browse like able-bodied people can. And I'm asking you to accept this wheelchair tax, this 2% wheelchair tax, and fix the wheelchair access throughout the town. Help the sick and the dying. 68% of Jesus' miracles were for the disabled. And I think if there's any Christians on this council, I'm appealing to them to put the last first and consider medical cannabis patients first before anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so you know, Mr. Grimes, we tabled our ordinance regarding the sale of cannabis in the town, in the borough of Ramsey, and we're doing further work on it. So right now it is tabled. So just to let you know that.
Thank you.
And thank you for your comments. We appreciate your input.
My name is Michael Asher. Hello?
Last name? Spell your last
Michael
name, please.
Asher. A-S-H-E-R.
And your address?
141 East Main Street. I have the Golden Triangle Stamp and Coin Shop. I'm here 54 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm severely handicapped, and I'm not getting any help from the departments that have been notified. My lawyer has called the town and wrote letters to the town, and I haven't received any help at all. All I'm asking for is to have the bicycle path in front of my store end at Main Street and not cross it for one additional block. Because that bike path, people conceive it as a crosswalk. And bogus tickets have been issued for 30 years as a crosswalk. And the sign out there now is a laughable sign. It's called a trail. It's not a crosswalk, and tickets are still being handed out, $85 tickets. And the customers are in an uproar over it. And they paid a fine because the town police call it a crosswalk. And I'm having that problem. I can't park far away. I can't walk. I've come before the council. They referred me to the borough administrator. The borough administrator comes with the captain of police and says there's nothing they can do about it. There isn't a single handicap spot on Main Street, Ramsey, and that's not right. And to give tickets, and I'm going to pursue this further. This is going to go to the papers, and everyone who has gotten a ticket in front of my store can come back and argue with you, because my argument with the police go nowhere. I've gotten 3 tickets in a matter of 3.5 days for that exact spot, and something has to be done about it. If it was in the middle of the bike path, I can understand it. But this is the last block of the bike path that goes from East Main Street to Prospect, and dead ends there. The country club is right there. They go around the chain for the country club and walk onto the golf course and go onto private property. Then they come back and put their lives at risk crossing Main Street again. And there's been accidents, and there was an accident very recently in the last couple of days here where people run into the bike path, they stop quick, and they get rear-ended. And that's happened over the past 30 years of the bike path, and the town won't do anything about it. I've gone to the police, I've gone on trial, and the judge and the prosecutor broke the law. They said I had the borough engineer's paperwork. That is not a crosswalk, it's a bike path. So when I was on trial, I said, I have this paperwork. They said, oh yes, we know that. It is not a crosswalk. But they've got a wrong sign up now, trail. They will do anything not to close that one block. And that block ends at a dead end, and it has nothing there except residences. It should end at East Main Street, my side of the street. 2 white lines are causing traffics and bogus tickets. And I have the bogus tickets. And I have a cop that targeted me. And I'm really totally upset. I can use other words, but they don't do any good either. So I want help. I want something done about it. I want that crossing eliminated. Or give me a parking spot in front of my store, a handicap parking spot, one or the other. The best thing is to eliminate that, because the police have taken away 6 parking spots because of that bike path. And that only happened after the road collapsed. After we had the road collapse that closed the street for 3 months, and when they restriped the street, they took all that away, 6 parking spaces. And the town is noted for ill parking. And I need help, and I need something done.
Thank you. I do know that the traffic officer went out there and measured to see if a handicapped spot and he's you're into. The award-winning family of Hyundai SUVs has something. All right, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak?
Yeah. The traffic officer going out and measuring doesn't do any good, because he's measuring it as a crosswalk. And it's not a crosswalk. The county won't let you have it.
Mr. Asher, it is not a crosswalk. I agree with you. It's part of the bike path, and your 5 minutes is up. Okay, is there
Okay. I'm glad you gave me the 5 minutes. But how do I continue with this?
Mr. Asher, I will have Chief Gurney follow up with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Of course.
Thank you
Have a
for
nice-
hearing me.
No worries.
Right.
Have a nice
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, this is your name?
I'm sorry, I hear a TV in the background. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, whoever's in the background that has the TV on, please mute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Star 6 to mute. Go.
Okay, so my name is Hugh Giordano, and I'm a union representative for the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW, 57 Argyle, 57 Argyle, 57 Argyle Avenue.
50.
Can you hear me?
No. Okay.
Someone's TV
whoever's
going in the back.
background, please turn it off. Because we're having trouble conducting the public comment session. Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Giordano, your address?
57 Argyle Avenue, Blackwood, New
Okay.
Jersey.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Someone still has their TV on, but I'll try my best.
Mute everybody and then let the speaker unmute himself.
Okay, what is it? Okay, hold on. I'm going to mute everybody, then we'll have Mr. Giordano, we'll have you unmute.
All right, no problem.
Muted. Okay, Mr. Giordano, please unmute by doing star 6.
Yes, do you hear me now?
Yes, sir. So you're 57 Argyle Avenue, Westwood, New Jersey?
Blackwood, New Jersey.
Blackwood, excuse me. Okay, thank you.
Yes, no problem. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I just
Yeah,
couldn't
no
hear you over
worries.
the
No,
TV.
Understood.
So thank you very much. So my name is Hugh Giordano, and I'm a union representative for the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW, Local 152. We're a national labor union which represents many diverse industries, and one of them is cannabis. Is it my understanding that Ramsey has tabled the ordinance to ban to gain more education on the subject?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm very happy to hear that. I just want to land a couple comments. One, these jobs are going to be unionized jobs. Part of the state law was very strong labor standards. We have some of the best labor standards in the country, in fact. Other states are taking our labor standards. Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia just took New Jersey's labor standards. So there's a lot going on with that. And what that means is seed to sale. That means cultivation, extraction, manufacturing, delivery, wholesale, and retail sales will be unionized. They'll have good living wages, health care, sick time, vacation time, paternity leave, and other union benefits. Also, we are working with the building trades as well. And the building trades are going to do the build out of the facilities. So all the retrofit to the carpentry, the electrician, is all going to be union. So this will create really good union jobs. One of the things I would suggest is if you look at the city of Bayonne's ordinance, they passed it about 4 weeks ago. The city of and it lays out how you would accept a cannabis facility into Ramsey. It lays out that, it's basically a local application process, the same way the state does it, but you can look more into labor standards, environmental standards, safety, security, community relations. How have they done in other states? So you have a lot of local power. So I would suggest the city of Bayonne's ordinance would be a good starting point. And it's very conservative for being such a big city. Also, if you want a tour of the Garden State Dispensary in Woodbridge, it was the first unionized dispensary in the state, and it's a medical dispensary, and it's a seed-to-sale facility, so you could see the whole process. So if you'd like to do that, I have no problem taking you on a tour. I've taken many other councils on the tour as well. Again, I appreciate you tabling it to get more information. Anything I can do, UFCW is here to help. And thank you for your leadership. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Giordano. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak?
George Bumiller, Bumiller.
Address?
Ramsey, New Jersey.
Yes, Mr. Bowman.
Now, first of all, can't you mute everybody and then we'll unmute ourselves when we want to speak?
That's what I did, but for some reason it's not working.
Well, somebody hasn't read the instructions, Mayor, I believe. Anyway, starting last November 30th, the agenda included correspondence, motions, and ordinances. This was a significant improvement, a first for the mayor.
Mr. Bill Miller, please unmute yourself. *6. Mr. Bill Miller, please unmute yourself. *6.
Uh-oh. Seth, I got it.
Mayor,
Yes,
can you
Seth.
hear me now?
Seth, it was amazing.
Yes, Mr. Bill Miller, is the TV on in your house?
No.
And it sounds like I'm going to give it a final spin here, so pardon me when I...
I'm in the kitchen, and nobody else is here, and the TV is in the living room, and I've got the door closed.
Earth Monkey.
Okay, then I don't know where Jeopardy, it sounds like Wheel of Fortune. I don't know where it's coming from then.
Okay.
Okay.
Starting November 30th, the agenda included correspondence, motions, and ordinances. This was a significant improvement, a first for the mayor and council meetings in the more than 50 years that I've attended meetings, and perhaps a first since the town was formed. Why has the agenda tonight gone back to a minimal format without listing the correspondence, motions, and ordinances after the summary of the agenda? Since the agendas can be revised, adding these items to tonight's agenda could be done without adding any new topics. But why has the agenda tonight gone back to a minimalist format?
I don't understand what you mean by your question, Mr. Bill Miller.
Excuse me, I can't hear you, Mayor.
It's Cindy.
What a mess.
I don't understand what your question is. The communications are there. The only ordinance that's on for hearing tonight is under new business.
What's going on over here? Anything?
Yes, would it be able for me to be seen while I speak, please?
Oh, Jamie's speaking.
Yes, you're
Oh.
on the screen.
Oh, Jamie's speaking.
How am I on the screen?
Corinne, generally we don't put the video on.
She's up there.
Her picture is.
Your picture is there.
Yeah.
Where?
Okay, well, I'm a live human. I would like to be seen while I'm speaking, please.
Oh, dear.
Turn on the
You
video.
need to turn your camera on. I don't know if I have the ability.
Probably need to turn your video on instead of
Your
your
video
picture.
on, ma'am?
You have to make her a panelist.
I don't have that option yet. You're controlling everything. You're censoring everything.
If you slide your cursor towards the bottom of your
No, it
screen.
may be because we
Does it come up?
present in a webinar format, so I
Yeah.
may have to promote her to panelist.
Yay, that's it.
But
There
there
you
is
go.
no obligation. You're having an open public meeting, but
You got
actually for
No, it's-
security reasons, because there's been.
There you got it, right?
instances
Okay, there we go.
People get on.
There we
See
go.
you now.
Wait a minute. Fred's saying something.
Excuse me, before my time start, the New Jersey Department of Consumer Affairs and the Division of Local Government Services did put out operational guidelines for COVID-19 for public remote meetings in New Jersey, NJSA 10-4-6 Open Public Meetings Act. Local units must ensure that the public retains the ability to attend and provide comment at the meeting. if you are utilizing audio and video, you must extend that to the public as well.
No, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. First of all,
What?
the meeting's open to the public right here in Hardyston. Second of all, this is an accommodation. And it doesn't say we have.
This is a public meeting, sir. This meeting is the public's.
That's right, but what Hardyston's doing is beyond the requirements. It's open to the public right here.
No.
And you are not obligated
Yes,
to
you
be on
are.
video. Now, the township has put you on the video, but so we're clear, nobody's censoring you in any way.
Yeah, you are.
This is above and beyond the requirements because the meetings are open to the public.
Sir, it is so censored that for the first 15 minutes,
come
me and other individuals in attendance were even unable to tell the host that there was no audio. That's how censored it is, that not only could we not speak with each other and be seen, that we couldn't even message the host to let them know. And I'm kind of concerned that if that is in compliance with Open Public Meetings Act at all, if the public didn't have access.
The public had access because the meeting's open to the public right here. And the manager then explained that there was a technical error. And then she summarized what happened during that part of the meeting. So I don't think.
I'm not feeling very comfortable about commenting on a summary about what I should have been able to observe myself.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's not fair.
Thank you. That had to be said.
Do you have anything you'd like to say now?
Can we start our time now?
I'm actually a medical cannabis patient and go around advocating for medical cannabis patients' rights. 67% of the state voted for recreational legalization. I hope that you educate yourselves and inform yourselves before you make decisions for people in your community, recreationally, but medicinally and medically. I hope that you have some empathy and allow people to have access to this within your community.
I believe they do have access to medical marijuana now.
This doesn't have anything to do with medical marijuana, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, we're talking about recreational.
Okay, but in the language used, I ask you to be very careful because nothing specified noticing any differences between medical and recreational. That's all.
We haven't made a decision yet. And when we make that decision, then you'll know.
I hope it's an informed and educated
We
decision.
will be.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
Yeah, she said there were two people.
The next participant expressing a desire to speak is Lefty Grimes. I am going to give you the access to speak now.
Thank you. This is Edward Lefty Grimes, and I appreciate you letting Jamie be seen, because I believe that's important that we can be seen also as well as heard, because there's a lot of us in wheelchairs, a lot of us suffering, and we want you to see our tears. We want you to see our cancer. We want you to see how we're suffering if we're in a bed or in a wheelchair. We want you to see these things because this is what we advocate for. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 in New Jersey, and we advocate for people in wheelchairs and for cannabis patients. And I would ask you to imagine what it's like in a wheelchair. I ask councils all over New Jersey to spend a day in a wheelchair, and not one has taken me up on that yet. And it's not a good life to live in the wheelchair. It's hurtful. You're pushed in the back of the line in most cases. With recreational cannabis coming, now medical patients are being put last. When they get to the front of the line, they don't have the strains that they need. They don't have the amounts that they need. It's overpriced, and it's taxed. It's taxed. They taxed our medicine. No other medicine is taxed. They're not taxing insulin or heart medication. That's a slippery slope when they start taxing life-changing and life-saving medication. I ask you to consider that you sell in pharmacies synthetic marijuana. The cannabis that God put here is stigmatized. That is a stigma, but man-made Marinol and Dronabinol in pharmacies is family friendly, apparently. I don't get that at all. God put this medicine here for a reason. It's helped me. I was on Oxycontin and Roxicodone, Lyrica, Valium. I have an artificial disc, L4, L5. I have a Fusion L5S1. I was on this stuff for 10 years, and it was very hard to get off of it. I wasn't abusing it, but I was on enough where my body was dependent on it, and I couldn't just stop taking it. I was going through withdrawals. And I bought a bag of cannabis to get myself off these pills. It didn't work right away. It was 3 days later, I'm in the fetal position on the floor. A couple months later, I tried again. It failed. A couple months later, I tried again. I failed. It took me 4 times. And I didn't make it easy on myself. Now, knowing what I know now, I would have used more edibles. I would have used more oil, FECO oil, suppositories. When I had my 2-level cervical fusion here, I wish you could see this, but I'm pointing at my 2-level cervical 2 years ago. I was afraid that I was going to be back on these opiates again. But I started using cannabis oils, FECO, and suppositories, and I used 0 opiates for a 2-level cervical fusion. I was amazed that it worked that well for me to do that. So it's a life changer and a life saver for me. And I would ask you to consider the sick people that can't get a ride in a wheelchair. You know, they say, oh, we have delivery now. Well, there was no delivery. Jake's Law was passed a while ago. There's still no delivery. And that's another cost we have to pay for. We need your help. We're getting moldy medicine. We're having big, huge conglomerate of cannabis corporations coming in to New Jersey, billionaires, when the small guy, the mom and pop guys, needs to be raised up. The people in your community, people in our county. We want dispensaries ourselves. We want licenses. Why are we giving them to the billionaires? We want some too. We need help. We're working class people, and we're sick people, and we need your help. They're selling us moldy medicine at these dispensaries now. We need help, so please help us. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next attendee expressing a desire to speak is Jeffrey King.
Fred, shouldn't people like that are given testimony be sworn in?
No, just their name and address, though, for the record. Yes.
Sworn in?
Jeffrey King.
Hi, can you hear me?
Sworn in.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey King, 24 Elizabeth Parkway, Eatontown. I just would like to also advocate for your acceptance of medical cannabis facility in Hardyston. A lot of people that are sick and suffering that have a hard time getting access to the medicine they need. It's really tragic how people have suffered needlessly through the years. People have been stigmatized based on race and class, and it's sad. Now we have finally a new beginning with the state legalizing, and it would be nice if more towns like yourselves would be positive and affirm the rights of the people that we voted for, that we want access to cannabis. And by the way, part of that vote was for home growing rights, and the governor and the legislature have failed to come through with what the people wanted, unlike New York State, New Mexico, and Virginia. So please, if you have any connections in Trenton, please tell them that we're very unhappy with their failure. But as far as the municipality, you've already heard really good reasons why you should take this into consideration. Good jobs, good benefits, and educated workforce. There's colleges offering this as a major with scholarships because it's a 6-figure income to be a master grower. This is not just some kind of hippie thing. It's people who are really professional. So you would have a really good asset in your community. It'd be medicine for people that don't want to take opiates, addictive, deadly pharmaceuticals, and it's an alternative, much safer than alcohol. So I know your origin is Snuff Town. I don't know if that's pejorative or not. I think that you could be a cannabis town, and that would be a good moniker, in my opinion. If that was associated with my community, I would be proud, because it would be people who would be healthy with a plant, natural, not toxic, not addictive, It's endorsed by the AARP. They had a whole issue on medical cannabis, and it's also endorsed vehemently by the American Legion. They have a vast majority of the veterans in their organization support medical cannabis, so that's why they support it. So if you have any connections with the VA, please tell them to help the veterans. There's veterans committing suicide every day because their option is opiates. So this stigma it's not going to break down overnight, but actions from folks like you that have the power to end the stigma, it would be very, very much fitting and proper for you to at least speak to the medical patients and what is right.
Jeffrey, let me tell you something. This is, I'm Councilman Varelli. We are discussing exactly what you're talking about. We haven't made a decision yet. There will be a decision. And we're going to discuss it, and we're going to make a decision. And that's the best thing I can say to you right now. I'm not going to say to you right now, yeah, we're going to give it to you now, because we haven't made a decision. We haven't voted on it. And we have to check into it too. So just hold on and we'll see what happens.
Well, I really appreciate you keeping an open mind, and I really do appreciate you doing your homework and learning more about what it would really mean if you take Mr. Giordano up on his offer of a tour. That would be very wise to see exactly what it looks like from seed to sale. That's, I think, what any council that has the power to make this decision should do. So I appreciate your open mind and your transparency. And you know, it's not for every town, but medical, there's sick people in every town. So if you can carve out something to help the sick and suffering, most vulnerable people, that's what I'm begging you to do. Thank you very much.
We understand that, Jeffrey. We understand that. We talked about that. But we have to make a decision, and we haven't made it yet.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate your kindness and compassion.
Tuesday.
Thank you. Next is Hugh Giordano.
Yes, can you hear me okay? Excellent. Hugh Giordano, 57 Argyle Avenue, Blackwood, New Jersey. Mayor and Council, I'm coming to you tonight as a representative of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW, Local 152. The UFCW is a national labor union which represents numerous industries, one of them being cannabis, both medical and adult use. And we are the official labor union under the guise of the AFL-CIO. First off, I want to thank you for having the conversation. I really appreciate that. You know, a lot of towns don't do what you all have done, which is take your time, have a conversation about it, get educated. I think that's wonderful, and I think everybody appreciates that. So thank you. I want to let you know that that not only is the seed to sale operations. That means cultivation, manufacturing, warehousing, all that's going to be union, but also the build out, the retrofitting of buildings, and the build out of buildings will be done by the trades labor. It's part of the NJ state law, where building trades are involved in the build out, and the UFCW is involved with the seed to sale. And that way we know that they're good jobs with good wages, benefits, workers' protections, healthcare, sick time, vacation time. And at the end of the day, this will create an economic stimulus for the middle class of Hardyston. And it will give the opportunity for folks who want to get to the middle class to get there. I also want you to know that these workers are well educated. A lot of people have misconceptions of the workforce. A lot of them have degrees in chemistry, botany, horticulture. They go to our schools right here in New Jersey, Stockton, Rutgers, and even community colleges. And we're working with them to do a national apprenticeship program as we speak. So two things I would suggest just in your conversations. One, I would like to offer the entire council, mayor, an opportunity to visit the Garden State Dispensary in Woodbridge, which was the first unionized dispensary of the original 6 Medical. They've been around since the Chris Christie administration. So it's a seed to sale operation. So you can see the whole operation in one facility. and you can also see the structure and the security, which in our unionized facilities are ex-police officers and veterans. So we offer, it's a way to give retirees an opportunity to use their skills that they've learned from the township or borough in the private sector to then be part of the community still. And the second thing is the city of Bayonne passed an ordinance about 4 weeks ago. It's very conservative for being such a big city, but on pages 10, 11, and 12 of the city of Bayonne's ordinance for cannabis, it lays out basically a mini application, a merit-based application to get on the local level. So it gives you power to say, do you have good environmental standards? Do you have good labor standards? Do you have security standards? How about your community relations? What have your actions been in other states? If they're big players, then that way you can make sure that you're protecting your citizens and these folks come in. It's not like the Walmart effect where they come in and they just take over a town. You can make sure that you can control that. And the Bayonne ordinance does a great job. So again, in closing, I really appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for showing leadership. Thank you for keeping an open mind. And if we can do anything here from labor to help assist you, our phone's always on to help. So again, from the UFCW, thank you.
Thank you. That is it for people raising their hand to speak. I don't see anybody else on the Zoom.
Okay. Seeing no other public comment, closing the public comment. Just one question for Fred. There's a lot of talk about medical marijuana. Are we discussing medical here at all, or is this just recreational?
We are really discussing the licensing and the permission of the recreational use. And what the legislature is saying that between now and August 21st, those type of licenses, they'd like you to take a direction on. But no, it doesn't have to do with the medical use. And it also doesn't have to do with the fact of whether or not it's legal within the township. That's already been decided. It's legal if you have marijuana at home and you utilize it. So, sometimes there's this misconception that there's this referendum and whether you opt in or out. This is all about the uses within the community. So to answer the question, Mayor, no, this isn't about the medical. It's about the licensing of whether there'd be sale, distribution, wholesale, or retail type of use within the township, in the various parts of the township.
Thank you for the clarification.
That wasn't very clear at all. Sorry.
Any need for executive session?
That was not clear. You need to. Where's the medical dispensary going? Where are we putting a medical dispensary?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Tell me what the score is. DeGrom was pitching tonight.
Is he pitching again?
So 1-0 Red Sox.
You're kidding me.
Where are we putting a medical
I don't know what happened.
dispensary? Where is the medical dispensary? Where can it be? Where is the medical dispensary? It all works out, Hugh. Oh, yeah, Jeff, you said, you had it backwards. You had the cart before the horse. The cart was before the horse. He's like, I hope you take Hugh up on his offer. And they're probably like, what offer? We didn't get an offer from Huey. I don't think we did this on this video yet. So, excuse me. Pardon me. Oops. I want you all have a good night. I think we're going to end every council meeting this way now. Well, you can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. Barnegat, Berkeley, Bridgeton, Bridgewater, Brigantine, Callstadt, Chatham, Clifton, Cranberry, East Rutherford, Inwood Park, Emerson, Fairhaven, Freehold, Garfield, Hasbrook Heights, Hawthorne, Lavalette, Lodi, Jamesburg, Hazlitt, Mawa. You can't get no weed here. You can't get no weed here. You can't get
get no weed here. You can't get no weed here. Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. Manville, Manningham, Point Pleasant Beach, Haleton, Caldwell, Oakland, Oceanport, Ridgewood, Ringwood, Seaside High, Seagirt, Shrewsbury, Sea, Caucasus, City, Spotswood, up at Freehold, up at Saddle River Wall, and you can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. Weehawken, West Caldwell, West Long Branch, Westwood, Wyckoff, Woodcliff, Lake, Palisades Floor, no wheelchair access in Palisades Floor. You can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your wheelchairs home, dear. You can't get no weed. Chester, Maurice River, Franklin Lakes, Harding, Midland Park, Manville, Old Bridge, Old Tappan, Ramsey, Danville, Avalon, Parsippany, Pleasantville, Saddlebrook, Rick, and Union City. You can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your wheelchairs home, dear, and those squeegees too. Keep your squeegees home. Keep your squeegees home, dear. Keep your squeegees home, dear. Keep those squeegees home, dear. Keep those squeegees home, dear. Keep those squeegees home, 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 home. Keep those squeegees home. We don't know squeegees in our town. Keep them squeegees in... Whoa. Whoa, that was loud. Can I stop this, please? All right, we are out of here. That was a great night of, I think we had 4 or 5 meetings tonight. I don't even know. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. There's no weed in the pines. There's no weed in the pines. The best weed town in New Jersey is going to be Ocean City. Ocean City is going to be the new destination for cannabis patients. Ocean City, where you can get a boat and smoke on the water. Oh. Where was I? They went with songs to the battle. Did we? Did we really? Gonna take my weed back to Curaleaf. I wanna cry cause my weed's so dry. Take my weed back to Curaleaf. I wanna cry cause my weed's so dry. Plants in the bags and it tastes really bad. Unfortunate and sad. Smells worse than swag, like the hay you feed a horse. Overpriced of course. Spend all my money purchasing remorse. Curaleaf will sell you something, but you won't feel nothing. Curaleaf will sell you something, but you won't feel nothing. The ride is a disaster, no way to make it faster. Right over an hour to get that shitty flower. My life is truly smoking bones and doobie, staying out throughout the day and feeling really groovy. Curaleaf will sell you something, but you won't feel nothing. Curaleaf will sell you something, but you won't feel nothing. I'm gonna take my weed back to Curaleaf. I wanna
really bad, unfortunate and sad. It smells worse than swag, like the hay you feed a horse. Overpriced, of course. Spend all my money purchasing remorse. The ride is a disaster, no way to make it faster. Right over an hour to get that shitty flower. My life is truly smoking bones and doobie. Staying high throughout the day, feeling groovy. Take my weed back to Curaleaf. I wanna cry, cause my weed's so dry. Take my weed back to Curaleaf. I wanna cry, cause my weed's so dry.
Mute the Zoom.
Well, it's 40 below and I don't give a fuck. Got a doobie in my truck and I'm off to the ATC. It's fast to the left, hey, from the right, come on, you fucking dummy, don't pass to the right, get out of the circuit, you fuck the rotation again. You pissed me off, you fucking jerk. Get on my nerves. Well, here comes Johnny with a bong in his hand. He's a one-tap man, he's off to the ATC. It's pass to the left, hey, from the right, come on, you fucking dummy, don't pass to the right, get out of the circuit, you knock the head off again. You pissed me off, you fucking jerk. Get on my nerves. Bong, 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 bong. Bong, 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 bong.
We are back in session for the regular meeting.
He looks like he's on mute also. Oh.
You talking? Are you talking to me? Sorry.
I just was trying to confirm to make sure we weren't having the same issue that we had prior, that the audio was working. So thank you.
No, I'm over here singing. I'm sorry. I know you can't hear me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good night.
All right, so we're good. Calling the meeting of Mayor and Council of Hardyston to be held on April 8th, 2021 at 8:20 p.m.
Oh my God.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied with respect to the meeting of Mayor and Council.
All right. How do I stop their audio? How do I mute them?
Being held both in person
I want to
and
mute
via
them.
Zoom webinar, specifically the time.
Can I mute
date,
them?
Public call information.
Here we go. I'm going to just sing my song and I'm out of here. I don't think we need to speak anymore. Do we? Hello? What happened? What happened? Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, here we go. Hit play. Maybe if I hit play. Oh, here we go.
Mr. Cicerelli.
Salute the flag.
Oh, I got to listen to them too? Oh, wait, how do I mute them? How do I mute them? Oh, no, how do I mute them? Oh, I can't mute. I can't get rid of them. Their audio, so I have to listen to their audio. If I want to hear my audio, I got to hear their audio.
Discussion is desired that the particular item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Yeah, they're in there.
Monthly reports 1 to 13.
Oh, but I'm still going to play the song. I don't care.
Agreements, applications, licenses.
They can't hear me. So it's all good.
No, sir, you have a motion to approve.
What?
Roll call.
Mr. Cooler?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Varela?
I keep hearing it.
Yes.
Mr. Cicerelli?
This is so weird.
Ordinances, first reading.
Mr. Mayor, this ordinance
Try it again. Well, it's 40 below. I don't give a fuck. Got a doobie in my truck and I'm off to the ATC. It's fast to the left, hey, from the right, come on, you fucking dummy, don't pass to the right, get out of the circuit, you knock the head off again. You pissed me off, you fucking jerk. Get on my nerves. Well, hot as hell, I don't don't give a shit. Got my doobie all lit, and I'm off to the ATC. Whoops. Now, see, I messed up. Now, that was my fault.
178 Beaver Run Road, lot 6.
This is so weird. I can't do this with the council talking. I hear them. It's 40 below, and I'm at the council meeting, and I can't hear a thing because the mayor is speaking. He's talking to his left. He's talking to his right. He's talking about cannabis and not banning medical in his town because he's a good guy. He doesn't want to hurt patients. He loves God. Well, here comes the mayor with a new ordinances banning all idiots in town. We don't want no prohibitionists. We don't want no dummies. We don't want no bad drivers. We just want cool people in our town. Hardyston. Hardyston. Hardyston is cool. We want them to rule. Hardyston allows weed. Give the patients what they need. Well, it's hot as hell. I don't give a shit. Got a doobie all lit, and I'm off to the ATC. All right, so let's start again. That was not a song. I don't know what that was. I don't know how to do this. How they're speaking over my song, and there's nothing I can do about it. Well, it's 40 below. I don't give a fuck. Got my doobie in my truck, and I'm off to the ATC. No, that's not going to work either.
Thank you. Open to the public, both in person and on the Zoom.
Why not? Well, it's 40 below. Are you asking me a question again? She was asking me a question before, and she asked me to unmute, and I'm like, hello? Because she can hear me, she can see me speaking. She can see me going like this, talking, and she thinks I'm talking to her. But I'm not. I'm not talking to you. I'm singing a song. Well, she's looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm sitting here singing a song on your council meeting. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm getting really high, and I'm doing a dab, and I'm gonna smoke some cannabis from Cannasense. They sent me some weed, and it's really good. Cannasense sent me some weed. It was really good. Cannasense sent me some weed. It was really yummy. Well, it's hot as hell. I don't give a shit. Got my doobie all lit, and I'm off to the ATC. It's fast to the left, take from the right. Come on, you fucking dummy, don't pass to the right. Get out of the little struggle, you knock the head off again. You piss me off. Again, get on my nerves.
Audience here and on the Zoom.
You still talking to me?
Anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this ordinance specifically may use the raise hand feature or press *9 on this.
I should jump in. Hi, I'm just in the middle of my song. I thought I'd say hi. See you later.
Is there a motion?
I have a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr.
Oh, this is
Cicerelli?
too funny. All right, I think I'm out of here. I think we've had enough.
Move on to new business.
We've had enough.
Proclamation honoring James Wright.
Unless you give me
Is there anyone
a
here?
request, I am out of
They're
here.
not. I have reached out to the family and left a message. I did not hear back, but you're welcome to obviously read it on the record, and we will make sure that we get the plaque to them, at their home.
Township of Hardyston proclamation honoring.
How's your papa, mama? 30 feet high and rising. How high's your papa, mama? 40 feet high and rising. We're playing a song over the council. We're playing a song over the council, baby. I'm playing a song over the council, baby.
In addition to his volunteerism,
This makes more sense. This song makes more
sense.
sense.
Member of the Township Planning Board from 1982 to 1988.
I can't hear your council, baby.
1992 to 1994. As a member of the Wallkill Valley Regional High School Board of Education. And whereas Mr. Wright's tremendous volunteer efforts made the township of Hardyston a better place.
How high is your papa, mama?
This proclamation.
20 feet high and rising. How high is your papa, mama? 20 feet high and rising. Got my dabs, got big fat slabs. We got so high we all call cabs. I sent my cannabis to the labs. 20 feet high rising. How high is your papa, mama? 30 feet high and rising. How high is your mama, papa? 30 feet high and rising. What you need? I got some weed. I got the clones. I got the seeds. Smoke cannabis and don't do speed. 30 feet high and rising. How high is your papa, mama? 40 feet high and rising. How high is your mama, papa? 40 feet high and rising. Cheech and Chong in an 8-foot bone helps us all to get along. Makes us write some really dumb songs. 50 feet high and rising. Well, how high is your papa, mama? 50 feet high and rising. How high is your papa, mama? 50 feet high and rising. My bong is full, tastes wonderful. Pull up a chair and take a pull. The lemon terps are flavorful. 50 feet high and rising. It's 50 feet high and rising.
Provide sleeping services at a hourly rate.
This is just a renewal.
Renewal.
Same contract, same numbers, everything else. You have a motion.
And a second.
Roll call.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
I'm breaking up butts in the hot sun. Bong for the law in the bong one. The bong for the law in the bong one. I needed Fico cause I had none. Bong for the law in the bong one. The bong for the law in the bong one. I left my bong and it feels so bad. I guess my bowl's catched. My Julio's the best bong for my head. Bong for the law and the bong one. Bong for the law and the bong one. Stabbing 3 people, filling 6 lungs. Bong for the law and the bong one. Bong for the law and the bong one. I lost my bong and I lost my fun. Bong for the law and the bong one. Bong for the law and the bong one. Lift my bong and it feels so bad. I guess my bowl's catched. My Julio's the best bong for my head. Bong for the law and the bong one. Bong for the law and the bong one.
Grant that we participate in partnership with Franklin Borough and Hamburg Borough. The annual award has been reduced significantly from prior years. They made a pretty significant cut following COVID, and they have not reinstated previous amounts. We're down to about $4,000 a year.
Wayne was in the van. He was stopped by the man. He was busted.
Most of it.
Carol from Lodi was just getting high. She was busted.
Mr. Mr. Mayor, you
From down south, he was running his mouth. The police laid him inside, they ransacked his house.
Alrighty. Oh, so that means our phones are gonna go off.
Right on the couch, he was busted.
Mr. Mayor, you have a motion as Hardyston takes
Anthony
the
and
issue of
Summit
alcoholism and
had
drug abuse very
tinted glass, he was busted.
Yes.
Lefty and Linden was being and as he was busted. David and Keyboard, they took all his stash. They took all his bongs. They took all his cash. Mike on the bike had his head beat and bashed. He was busted. Chris from Absecon, cops took her wheelchair, she was busted. She had a shit in a bucket, cause the cops didn't care, she was busted. Jessie was growing some weed in her home. They spent time and money wiretapping her phone. They took away Jeremy, now Joanne's alone. They were busted.
On 32-21.
Everybody's a little distracted by the storm.
It doesn't take much to distract us.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that time that we were talking about Sparta Mountain and we were over in the school and the typhoon passed over.
Do we have a motion? Do we need a second now?
Yes, we did.
They can't hear me singing, can they?
Seconded it, now we just need a roll call.
There's no way they can hear me singing. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? They can't hear me unless they unmute me. I've been shooting these veins so long, singing the same old song. I know every clack get in these dirty sidewalks of Brick Town. Where hustle's the name of the game, and nice guys get washed away like the snow in the rain. There's been loads of nodding and drooling. Who do you think you're fooling? But I wanna be where the methadone's getting in me, like a methadone cowboy, trading in my horse for a fancy little bottle of dope. Like a methadone cowboy,
Yes.
getting crabs and diseases from people I don't even know. My dealers calls me on the phone. Well, I really don't know how to abstain, and a smile can hide all my pain. When you're down and you're chasing that dragon and you're taking the long way, and I dream of the drugs I do, with a bundle and a needle in my shoe. There's been loads of itches and hides, risking all of your lives. I wanna be where the methadone's getting in me, like a methadone cowboy, trading in my horse for a fancy bottle of dope, like a methadone cowboy, getting cribs and diseases from people I don't even know. And my dealer's calling me on the phone.
amend it to make sure, the goal is to get the project complete.
I have no problem with that. My question is, because of the problem we've had.
When Chucky was driving with a cracked windshield, the cops told him he didn't yield. They asked him why his car smelled like skunk. Chuck says, I don't answer questions, punk. Chucky does dabs and he don't care. Chucky rolls blunts and he don't care. Chucky smokes pot, he don't care. The law has got to change. When Mikey was riding on his Huffy, the cops beat him red and puffy. They said you should have bought a Schwinn. Now we have to take you in. Mikey does dabs and he don't care. Mikey smokes blunts and he don't care. Mikey smokes pot and he don't care. The law has got to change. When Jeff was in the hospital sick, the head nurse, she was such a dick. She took away his evening grass, gave it back and felt like an ass. Jeff does dabs and he don't care. Jeff rolls blunts and he don't care. Jeff smokes pot and he don't care. The law has got to change.
Whether it's the existing current developer or subsequent future developer.
I'm okay. I just want to make sure.
Good night, everybody.
Because-
Mm.